and on. Harley Race, anybody who's anybody is there, and it's huge. So, and I don't know the real Bret Hart. I don't know anything about him. I've heard of the Harts, but I didn't know, I may have heard of Stu Hart and so forth, but I didn't know Bret Hart like I know him now.
Right.
So, of course, that's how I got the name. And I kept that for about 2 years until I left. Mm-hmm.
That must have been, was that awkward meeting him?
Yes. Yes, it was. He actually didn't talk to me that much for about a year until he realized it wasn't my fault, and he respected me as an athlete and a professional wrestler.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Another question just came in. How were you selected for Red Knight at Survivor Series?
Excellent question. Well, these are awesome. This is really another good story. Let's see. That was the main event at, I forgot what pay-per-view that was. Oh, that was that not SummerSlam? It was,
We said Survivor
maybe a
Series.
pay-per-view at Survivor Series,
Yeah.
Thank you. And that was the main event. It was it was supposed to be Jerry Lawler and his Knights against the Hart family. Jerry Lawler, I don't know what happened with him, got in some trouble. I don't know the whole story on his end, but he wasn't there, and Shawn Michaels was in place.
Mm-hmm.
And the Red Knight was supposed to be Terry Funk.
Okay.
So I was in the locker room because if you're under contract, you're at every pay-per-view, you're at every show, you're there no matter what.
Right.
And it just so happens they go, they needed the Red Knight. And they come up to me and they said, oh, yeah. They fitted me for an outfit. I mean, they made it there like in an hour and told me to, I shaved my beard off. I had a chinless mask. And I think, it's the first time I ever wore a mask. And something about Terry Funk couldn't make it, or his horse was sick. I don't know, because Terry Funk he's a character, but he's a great guy. And I've met him once or twice in my life and told him that story. I think he laughed. And that's how I was picked, the Red Knight. So I feel flattered. I'm taking Terry Funk's place. Holy crap. I mean, that's huge. Because Terry Funk, in his prime, I mean, not only looked the part, his promos were excellent, plus he was an excellent wrestling heel. Once again, I emphasize wrestling.
Right.
Wrestling heel. So, and world champion. NWA.
Yes. Amongst many others.
Amongst many others, yes, exactly.
Now, do you watch today's product at all?
I don't center in on it. I don't have that kind of time. And if I'm flipping and I'm seeing it and there's just, a lot of cartoonish or girls and stuff, if I'm seeing, which I have flipped and stopped, if I'm seeing something like, I'm flipping the channels and I see, I'm just going to say off the top of my head something. If I see Bobby Roode wrestling AJ Styles, I'm going to stop and watch it. Because it's my type of match. I'm going to see wrestling. I'm going to see some various submission holds. I'm going to see pinfalls. I'm going to be seeing holds. I'm going to be seeing a wrestling match.
Right.
By the way, that's what it says on the outside of these arenas.
Yeah.
Professional wrestling.
Usually.
It doesn't say tables, ladders, and chairs. It doesn't say any of that stuff. It says wrestling on the marquee.
Right.
Nothing against those matches. It's just not my forte.
Now you mentioned the women. Now, your era, there was very little of it.
Very little.
Very little.
Very.
You probably count on one hand how many female wrestlers there were, and that then.
Yep.
Now it went through a really bad stretch of just absolute shenanigans when it came to women's wrestling. Now, I think it's kind of reverted back to where they're starting to concentrate on wrestling with the women. Have you checked out any of the matches nowadays, like the Mae Young or anything like that?
Right.
Like, have you checked out any of the newer products?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, yes, I have, and sorry about that. What I'm saying is the women product today is awesome because they're wrestling like men. They're putting a lot of effort into it. They're suplexing. They're just not slapping around. And I'm assuming, and I'm not being biased or prejudiced, I'm assuming there is male trainers that are training them. I'm sure there is some women that are training them, but for the hardcore stuff, I'm going to say that men are training these women, and I think the products, not only do they look good and premium and top of the line product as far as their looks, their hair, their outfits, their wrestling is A1 quality.
Now, see, this is the question I kind of had. This is my question. Okay. Now, and I agree with you 100,000% about the women wrestling. Why? So they focus all this energy on this, and I'm going to use the air quotes, evolution of women's wrestling. To focus to make them look really good, and they're busting their ass in the ring, and everything's great. But they still resort to the cartoon crap with the men.
No, yeah, that's hard to critique. It's just. Yeah, what are you going to do? I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know what else to say on that. It's I don't know who's running everything and creative activity and what have you. So I don't know. Okay. It is weird though.
So we got a question that was sent in. Why the pocket protector?
Not my idea. Didn't really care about that. They're trying to almost portray me as I could wrestle, but I'm kind of a nerd, which I am totally the opposite of that. I'm not a gamer. I'm not a nerd. I never have been. So that's what they were portraying, which is fine. I mean, whatever. You got to have a gimmick or a character or something to rely on. I remember Chris Candido said this to me once, and I like it, and I use it. And I stole it from him, his line. What's my gimmick? My gimmick is I know how to wrestle. My gimmick is that I pat myself on the back. That's my gimmick. I know how to wrestle.
Which, if I remember correctly, your T-shirts used to have the handprint over your shoulder.
You got it.
used to love those. Used to love getting those WWF magazines every other month with the merchandise catalog in the middle. It was such great times.
Sure. Awesome. Definitely.
And how often did you team up with Steve Lombardi?
Oh, I don't know. Just a few times. Just a couple of times. I don't know. Not that much.
Okay.
Just whenever they had us. Mostly, maybe once in a while a house show, but maybe some TV matches and just a handful maybe, and that's it.
Okay. And one last question from me, which I'm sure other people would love to know the answer to this question. Push comes to shove at the end of the day. Is Barry Horowitz a WWE Hall of Famer?
I think I am. I think I am, and not being. I'm being self-confident, but I'm not bragging or I deserve this, but. I think for where I came from, my age now, when I started, how I took care of myself, what I did in the business, you didn't hear no controversy or what have you. And if there was, I want to hear about it because I think it's probably BS, or jealousy or somebody making up crap. But I think I deserve to be there. Why not? I mean, there's a lot of people that don't deserve to be there. I'm not going to mention names because I don't do that.
Right.
But that's neither here or there. So I think I do. What do you think?
Me personally, I do because I feel that you're a piece of history. You wrestled in what I consider the best era of the company to date, and you've wrestled with some of the the greatest names of this company and in this industry. And you were easily a guy, like I said, that didn't matter if you had the title or not. People remembered who you were, and that's kind of the goal of any sport. It doesn't matter what it is. That if you were someone that was known from your generation, then that's an accomplishment in itself.
Oh, definitely. I agree with that. Oh, yeah. You can go on and on with that statement. Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, like I said, there's not everybody could be, we go to, the hockey, we go to soccer, we go to gymnastics, we go to the Olympics. I mean, great example is Kurt Angle.
Right. Kurt Angle is the only Olympic gold medalist in professional wrestling. Nobody could touch that. Nobody. You could go NCAA like Brock Lesnar, which is a phenomenal athlete. AAU, you could go Army champion, Navy champion, a bunch. But when you win a gold medal at the Olympics with a broken neck, you're a stud. You're the man. You're an athlete. And that's a fact. Right. Yeah, definitely.
And how about Kurt Angle adapting to professional wrestling so quickly and how well he did in his career?
Yeah.
His promos, the way he carries himself, how he looks, his injuries, everything about him. He's the real deal. And I don't even know him or never met him. But I'm just going by what I see.
And to continue his career after multiple broken necks, which I saw that documentary on him, it was unbelievable.
I mean, he's an athlete. Yeah, definitely. He's been where no other guys have been. I mean, like I said, you got people, I could name people in the past, Jack Briscoe, which is a phenomenal athlete, NWA champion for years, NCAA champion, AAU champion. You got Brock, you got Steiners, you've got, I'm trying to think, the guy from Minnesota, he was on the Olympic team, Brad Rangans, that's who I'm thinking about, he's a great guy. And you got a lot of amateurs, but you're not Olympic golds. And I don't think there's going to be another one either. I really don't. But never say never in the wrestling business.
It's true, because they've kind of reached out to so many different areas now. I mean, I guess with Dan Severn and Shamrock and Lesnar,
right.
They kind of did that crossover from MMA, UFC. Now you got Ronda Rousey and the four horsewomen. They all came up. So I mean. I can see it. I mean, amateur wrestling probably doesn't get the publicity it should. You see a lot of it college level, but then you never really hear from them again. So
no, I agree.
I think WWE's got a lot of hands and a lot of areas where they're, it's no longer, hey, let's pick a guy out of the gym because he's jacked, or let's go get that girl because she's hot. It's more of They got their hands more in a talent pool now.
Yeah, thank heavens those days hopefully are gone, because that's ridiculous. There's no respect. Yeah, there's no dues being paid. They don't respect the business. They don't, like Garth Brooks says in his famous song, The Dance, they don't dance. They didn't do the dance. You got to go through the dance to get to the top. Go right to the top. I could name people that have never did the dance, and they don't respect the business to this day. And I don't like them.
Now, let me. Now you brought that up. Let me ask you this question. I got sent in from Phil. He wants to know if you think you'll ever get a figure from Mattel.
I don't think so, because it would have been done by now. But then again, never say never. I mean, I know there was a figure made because I wrestled in Niagara Falls, and this kid came up to me and brought it to me. I had it. And I don't know what happened to it, but I don't know if he had it produced by somebody or he made it, but it was pretty darn cool. And, you make, once again, this isn't being bitter, but you make figures of a lot of different people that didn't fill my shoes, or maybe they did and they were lucky, or maybe they deserved it, and they got a figure, so.
Right. I think it's, it comes down to a lot of those people with money. They sign those contracts. They they get the royalties and stuff like that. Because there's so many, especially
I'm
your
grateful.
era that should have figures.
I'm grateful for my T-shirt. I'm grateful for my trading card. So, at least I'll be grateful. I'm not going to be greedy. I mean, sure, you want different things, but at least I had something. At least I was recognized on certain things. As far as pay-per-views, I was on the the big thing on NBC was with Dick Embersol. Dick Embersol. I'm not saying that right. Dick. I forgot. He used to be